Hello, my name is Beau Bratton. I am the founder and general manager of Speed to Contact in Torrance, California. Our website is speedtocontact.com. We're the makers of Ricochet, the fastest dialer, CRM, and marketing automation platform on the market today. And today's subject will be about strategies for creating statuses in your CRM or dialer. So maybe you're thinking about switching over to a new CRM or dialer and you want to start fresh, or maybe you're looking to retool what you already have. There's really just two main strategies or options, I should say, to think about when making that decision. And number one is creating more statuses. So what are the advantages of creating a wide variety of statuses? And of course, on the opposite end of the spectrum, what are the advantages of creating fewer statuses? So let's dive in, and we're going to start with creating more statuses. So the pros and cons to having many statuses in your CRM or dialer is that it's great for hyper-targeted marketing. Why is that? So if you have a status of just contacted versus a status of contacted and scheduled meeting, you now know that that consumer is already scheduled for a meeting with you. So when you send out, you could trigger an automated email at that point in time when you disposition or status that record in your system. And you could either send out a message that is very basic, knowing that they contacted them, or send out a message that's more targeted, knowing that you contacted them and you've already scheduled a meeting. So for marketing purposes, having more descriptive statuses or more statuses is very advantageous. It's also great for the sales reps because when they status, they have more descriptive statuses that they can put in, so they know better off where their pipeline is at. And of course, managers also can see better off where the pipeline is at. And that makes your entire database, the final point, more segmentable. So if you're ever going to switch it over or integrate it with some sort of third-party system, you've got a very segmented data set instead of having a very simplified data set. The cons are it can be actually complicated to find the statuses on the list. If you have 25 statuses and they're in no particular order, even if they're alphabetized, it can actually take your sales reps a little bit of time to find the status that best meets that criteria. Because again, you're really hyper defining your statuses here. And that can actually, for the second piece, slow down the calling process. Or if you're dialing out, or even if you're just marketing or sending emails out to consumers or clients, after you send it out, you change the status, or after you talk to somebody, you want to change the status, you want to make another phone call or send another email. It takes a while, and that time that it takes to find the perfect status adds up. Finally, additional workflow management. So if you're going to set up a CRM with a bunch of statuses and you're going to do marketing automation on top of that, or dialer campaigns, or whatever you may be doing, it's going to take you a lot more work to set up all those different marketing campaigns for each individual status. So those are the pros and cons of creating many statuses in your system. There's the top three pros and cons, I should say. There's a lot more. And let's talk about having very few statuses. Some of the pros are it's easy for less sophisticated sales teams. If you have a sales team and, just depending on the level of sophistication, however you want to define that, if there's very few statuses, it's going to be a lot easier for them to pick a status that meets that particular description of the event, right? So if you contacted them and all you have is contacted, you status it as contacted. That's going to make up for a faster setup and configuration of your system as well. Very few statuses, very few configurations and marketing triggers that you need to implement. And it speeds up the calling process. So if you have a call center and you guys are all about dialing through leads quickly, if you implement something like hot buttons as well on top of this, you can get through calling leads in a very fast manner, calling one lead after another after another. So it speeds up the entire calling process. And again, even if it's just subtle, like you're emailing leads or you're going through leads and clicking to dial them, that time it takes to look up and disposition adds up over time. The cons are, again, less triggers and controls for marketing. So you don't know that you also scheduled a meeting with that person off of the status if it's just contacted. You don't know that maybe that person already received some documentation from you or had a demo. So you're not going to be able to be as targeted with your marketing that goes out. It's also less descriptive for managers. So if you're a manager and you're looking at the pipeline, all you see is the basics of what status those leads are in. You can only segment it so much. So you don't have as much insight into the overall performance of your sales reps and the pipeline of where your leads really truly are. And then, so it's finally, it's less segmentable, and it lowers that ability to really break up your data into pieces. So that's it. That is an overview on the pros and cons of having more or less statuses in your CRM or dialer. Thank you for joining me on this quick adventure. Once again, feel free to visit our website or like us or contact us if you have more questions about it. Take care.